Are you ready for this next year? It could be a painful year depending on how you look at it. It's all mindset. I will say that right off the bat. But when we zoom out on this Bitcoin chart, there is so much to consider. One thing that is true, and it's kind of special about Bitcoin and this chart, no matter who you are, we all see the chart differently. And Bitcoin at the end of the day does not care how we see the chart. Bitcoin does its thing. From the beginning of when this chart began, Bitcoin it does its own thing in terms of the cycles. And from a data perspective, I like to sit back, especially when making decisions from a macro perspective as a crypto person, crypto investor. I like to zoom out and I like to respect the consistencies of the data and the Bitcoin charts. That's what I want to break down in this video. So I want to first kind of pose this question to you, and you might not relate. Growing up, I grew up in the Northeast. It was cold. Like the winters get cold up there, right? Going into winter, I'd be just prepared. Just like, all right, let's do this. Let's go. You get all your winter gear. You go out, you get your winter clothes, and you're good to go. Start up the fire. You're kind of like, all right, I'm here. I'm in winter. And then it just drags on, and you're kind of like, all right, where's the nice weather, right? And especially for me, I'm all about that sun. And then all of a sudden, the winter starts breaking, right? You get like a 60-degree day, 70-degree day. And bear with me, everybody, because I'm going somewhere here. That nice day comes and you're like, we're out of the woods. We're out of the winter. And then all of a sudden it's like the next day it's like 35 degrees and it's cold. This is where we are in the Bitcoin cycles. This is where we are in the crypto cycles. We are in this in-between phase where we just survived a winter. We got through it, but it's kind of like everybody's waiting for that bull market. Everybody's waiting for that bull market sunshine, the warmth of the bull market to shine on crypto markets and bring us those crypto gains. And that period of time in between, it can be very painful. And it is extremely, extremely important for me personally to consider the mental aspect of this, because right now is such a critical time. We have, in my very, very own opinion, survived the bear market. And we're in this in-between period where it is extremely critical to have my game plan ready, not just for Bitcoin, but just for crypto in general, my altcoin plays and what I'm doing in the space from a cycle perspective. And I want to break down a timeline perspective on what I'm talking about. The pain, that's up to you, right? You can sit here, complain, be bored, or you can have a more opportunist type of attitude, an optimistic attitude where you're like, you know what, it's the game time is approaching and I need to make some moves from a preparation perspective. And that's where my head's at. And that's what I'm doing. I'm sharing with you where my head's at. But let's break this down from a timeline perspective. How long are we talking here? It's very simple. On this chart, y'all know, I track these cycles, and especially the start of bull markets. I use my Fibonacci. It's a bull market high to a bear market low. And we do the same thing to the downside to track downside bear market lows. But bull market high to bear market low, it's that green channel. It's the bull market doors being broken. It's Bitcoin and crypto going crazy. Finally, in that parabolic environment where we're starting to approach all-time highs, break all-time highs again. I have this indicator on this band that you see in the middle of the screen, wrapping around Bitcoin price. It's a CCV indicator. You can get it. You can try it in the link below. It's a Chart Prime link. I have the setting where I can show the bull market doors. So basically what we're doing is we're plotting out those next bull market doors for Bitcoin. And you can see that this is not timeline sensitive, right? This isn't saying this is going to happen in July or August, but this is showing us where are the doors. It's around $57,000 to around $48,000 or so. It's this range up here. Those are those bull market doors. Let's go back to get a very simple just perspective of this. And let's just see, what did Bitcoin do in the last cycle, right? Well, here's the 2020 halving. It took around 160 days or so for Bitcoin to really break through those bull market doors. 160 days after the 2020 halving. We go to the cycle before, check this out. It took, we entered the bull market doors around 147 days, broke the doors around 200 some days after 2016 halving. Now, if you just look back, whether you were here or not, doesn't matter. But you look at this bear market all the way back here down into 2015, brutal, survived it, but then it's kind of like, oh man, look at all this period of time. There were some gains in there, but there was volatility. And then you go back to the last cycle and you're like, all right, Let's look at what happened last cycle. Brutal bear market, nice gains coming out of the bear market, but then what is all this mess of just volatility, almost sideways? Look at this. August 19th, prices around $10,000. And I'm saying August 2019. And then all the way here, over a year later, prices still around the same. That's brutal. This is that in between waiting for the seasons to change type of timeline. That's what that is. And whatever mental aspect somebody has is the game changer. And everybody's different in that environment. Now I go to where we are right now, and I'm kind of like, this is exactly where we are. You look at the next Bitcoin halving is in 2024. We're looking at, until the Bitcoin halving, still 260 days or so. And then if you look at this, if we take the previous cycles when Bitcoin broke those bull market doors, let's just take 150 days it takes. Let's assume, right? And that's speculative. There are people that think that Bitcoin will break all-time highs before this halving. There are people that say it's different this time. We got a Bitcoin ETF in play. We have SEC losing all over the place. What if we get clarity, regulatory clarity that's just extremely bullish for crypto? I sit here, even if that's going to be the case, I just think Bitcoin's going to respect the charts, the consistencies of the charts. And so I respect that data. And I'll anticipate anything. I'll anticipate all-time highs prior to the next halving. I just don't think that's going to happen. Bitcoin could very well make a move up to $55,000. I think there will be resistance there if that happened prior to the halving, and I think Bitcoin will come back down. But 154 days post 2024 halving, that is a good amount of time considering we still have around 260 days until the halving itself. So we're looking at, what is this? Time frame perspective, speculatively, like 400 days, a year, right? Around a year, next September, speculatively, before the bull market really kicks off. And so the question, and this is truly me posing the question more to probably myself than to you, but I'm very curious about your thoughts in the comments. So comment below and let me know what you think in terms of this timeline. Let me know if you think we're going to break all-time highs before the next halving or after. Let me know if you agree. But this is for me, and that is to say, in this time frame that we're in, this shift from winter to spring, right, or summer, whatever you want to call it, what am I doing? How am I looking at this? Am I preparing, or am I getting too distracted with charts like this? This is a 6-hour chart. Bitcoin just sideways for over a month, like a month and a week. Bitcoin sideways. And in this volatile game of crypto where we actually even kind of enjoy just the fact that it can pump and fall, when it's sideways, that's where it gets brutal, right? So not only are we getting moves like this, but we're getting moves like this in what is my opinion, the most painful part of crypto cycles. I don't even think it's this. I don't think it's the fall into the bear market, because when we get bull market highs, I think at this point, especially if you've been in crypto long enough, this is just anticipated. I mean, this is the consistency once again in terms of timeframes. So good. Look at the bear market low to the bull market high for Bitcoin. Look at this. Bitcoin falling to the 786. So the opposite of the bull market doors. This is how we locate bottoms of bear markets. Look at Bitcoin. It's just so consistent. So this move is like almost anticipated, expected. I don't like to use that word expected at all. We don't expect anything. We anticipate everything. But look at this move, right? So this isn't even the worst of it. The worst of it is, all right, we're cruising out of the bear market and we're preparing for this next bull market, and we have a year left. That could become painful if we don't have the right mindset, the right perspective. And that is something that I wanted to just highlight in one very simple video, identifying timeline. You can go to even just a Bitcoin dominance chart, and you get a very, very nice perspective in terms of this story playing out, right? 2016 halving, Bitcoin dominance plummets. This green rectangle, that's the bull market, right? Boom, Bitcoin dominance falls. And then we're in the bear market. We're just cruising out into 2020 halving. What happens in that bull market? Bitcoin dominance falls. It's alt season once again, right? Altcoins just doing work. But look how much time we have until this next bull cycle. Speculatively, I will say. When and where will Bitcoin be? when this time frame gets here, right? What will Bitcoin dominance be doing? There are so many unknowns in terms of what happens in this next year. And even in just relation to the Bitcoin chart, you go back to the Bitcoin chart, there are so many unknowns in terms of what Bitcoin does. Does Bitcoin continue to the upside and test the Fibonacci's? Are we going to see some massive gains, like almost 100% gains for Bitcoin before falling? Is Bitcoin just going to start falling and trickling down into the next halving? Those questions can make it uneasy to kind of survive and live in this shift to the next bull market. And so my focus is very simply anticipating all scenarios, which we can discuss in other videos, speculative videos. But my plan, everybody, is to prepare mentally and just not complain about it, not just harp on how boring this is and come on, do something, because I could very well get wrapped up into that, right? Everything in this game of crypto is mental. So my plan is to prepare. And what does that mean for me? It means prepare from accumulation perspective, as maybe in terms of altcoins, right? I use the Bitcoin charts a lot, but for me, it's more of a roadmap than anything else. I'm very much into altcoin plays, right? Especially as we prepare for this next cycle. I think altcoins, they got demolished in this bear, but going into the next bull, I think we'll do very well. So I'm very keen on understanding my position with altcoins, right? And this time frame allows me to do that. And I need to focus on that from a timeline perspective. And that's what I'll be doing. Anything can happen, right? We know that. And so during this year, that's what I will be doing. And I'm kind of curious, everybody, what you'll be doing. What do you think about this timeline? What do you think about whether or not Bitcoin will break these bull market doors and even start approaching all-time highs again before the next halving? I do not think that is in play, but obviously anything can happen. So I appreciate you all watching. I really do. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a good weekend. If you're not a subscriber, be sure to subscribe for more Bitcoin, crypto news, analysis, all that good stuff. And I appreciate each and every one of you. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.